Hey there, it's Chris from Intentional. It took me a few days to get back into the rhythm of recording, so I'm tracking behind my 100 days. But something I really wanted to share today is this idea of going story first for your creative, or really behind story, it's really going portrait. We're seeing a trend that's just increasing in terms of our clients' performance when utilizing the story placements on Instagram, and then that idea is to really how do you let that lead your creative. Right now, we're obviously still in a process where we've just, as agencies and clients, maybe figured out our templates and our ways of working for originally 16:9, so landscape, traditional way of advertising. Some of you made the shift to focus on 1-to-1 ratio. Some of you may be even making multiple placements, but very much the heart of what we create still is thought of, what's going to work in feed, and then we edit down or change the dimensions, and then just factor in how we make that work for a story or portrait-based creative. What I want to challenge you on is that, particularly over this next 3 months in the lead up to the busy Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas period, we see inherent value if you can think story first. So don't start designing for feed and then edit. Load up your phone, look at what's working on stories and start there. There's actually a crossover impact here too, in that portrait mode on YouTube is also working. Now, I don't know who these sickos are because it's not me, but the majority of people who watch YouTube watch it in portrait. So they don't even bother to turn their screen, they watch on that tiny little cropped screen. So if you can have a portrait ad that's going to take up more of the screen there, fantastic. And even if you are a creator or you're a brand producing organic content, make it in that 4:3 so you can take up more of the screen, make it easier for people consuming it. But as you start thinking about your story creative, there's some limitations on it that are actually perfect then to apply into feed, because we know the truth always is that there's within a constraint and a limitation is actually where you find the success of creative. So I'm going to highly recommend you to start having a play with Instagram stories as your sort of default 9:16. How can you make that work? And then edit that back to feeds when you need to show in the feeds. But don't do it 1-to-1. Do it still the 4:3, or I think on Facebook it needs to be 4:5. Just check your dimensions that you need to have. But by doing that, you're actually going to be playing into the hands of the algorithms. They're going to be wanting to show more creative in that way. You're also going to be playing in the hands of consumers that are actually consuming all the creative that way as well. They're not turning phones, they're not zooming in on things. So if you can do this, I really think there's going to be a short-term competitive advantage to be able to do this. I think as we go into 2020, it's going to, agencies will change their templates over, the ways of working, and that sort of ability to jump first. So particularly going into a heavy sales period like we are right now, highly recommend Instagram story carousels too. It's the same idea as a feed carousel. You get 3 images, they're the ones you got to tap 3 times to get past. So they're my big tips. Design story first, look at story carousels, and if you're on YouTube advertising, go 4/3 for mobile as well. Portrait's going to be the name of the game, and then edit your portrait down to work on feeds. Don't do it the other way around, and I'm sure you're going to see great success coming over this holiday period. All right, thanks.